that. They have both said that they would be open to going back out and playing as Rush again. Obviously, they don't have anything planned, but they did that Rush tribute thing. They did where a bunch of different drummers filled in for Neil Peart. This was it would have been last year, I think. And I think there was the Taylor Hawkins tribute show. And then there was a thing where they played a bunch of Rush songs. So it was Dave Grohl and Danny Carey. Chad Smith played. Omar Hakim, if you know drummers. A really wide array of drummers there. So they have recently been saying, the more we've thought about it, under the right circumstances, we could conceivably go back out and tour as Rush, just with somebody else. Neil Peart, obviously, the cornerstone of that band. I mean, he was their primary lyricist. He was, an unparalleled drummer. So it would be weird to see that because all eyes would be on whoever they hired to. It's not like Foo Fighters. Taylor Hawkins died, and they were like, well, we have to figure we're going to take some time off, but we are going to go back out. That's a bigger band. They could go back out. Dave Grohl is the superstar of Foo Fighters. But Neil Peart was, if you had to choose, if you're a bass player, obviously you love Geddy Lee. And Alex Lifeson has, I think, always been an underrated guitarist. When they talk about the great guitarists, it's rare that you hear Alex Lifeson's name come up, and I always thought that was kind of a big disservice to him because he is a fantastic guitar player. It's like Andy Summers in The Police, who I've talked to a few times over the years. He is underrated as a guitarist, too. So if you're going to the Geddy Lee thing on Sunday night, I'm curious to hear some customers' takes on it because I'm not going, but I'm enough of a Rush fan where that would be interesting to me. I don't know if you can go playhousesquare.org. I don't know if there are still tickets for that, but I do like the notion of maybe those guys going back out at some point with somebody else behind the drums.
Is it going to be you? Are you going to audition?
It is not going to be me.
Send them your tape.
No.
Why?
Because I'm doing this.
If Rush came to you and said,
I have found my own path.
We're going out on tour and we need you to drum for us, you wouldn't do it.
Well, I'm not saying that.
So send him a tape.
No.
Make your dream come true.
There are 4 million drummers better than me.
No, you don't know that.
Yeah, I do. Guys I follow on Instagram, I'm like, Jesus Christ, how do you only have 4 limbs? Like, these guys are playing like goddamn octopuses. And I'm like, how the hell are you? Anyway, far more accomplished individuals that should be behind that drum kit. But speaking of auditioning, okay, so Poundcake, he blew the Breakfast Club thing, whatever. But I had to think of him again because they're rebooting Dating Naked. About 10 years back, VH1 did this show called Dating Naked. And they're going to reboot it for MTV. I don't quite understand this because VH1 and MTV are the same company. Maybe they're just, I don't know. Maybe their license on ridiculousness is running out and they need to plan for some other kind of programming besides Jersey Shore and ridiculousness.
Yeah, someone went in there like, hey, we have a wild idea. What if we put on a different show? And they're like, whoa, I don't know.
Well, because I don't know. There's a couple shows Gwen watches. She watches Catfish, which I can't believe is still on.
How are people still getting catfished?
What's that?
How are people still getting catfished?
That's what I say every time. And then she watches a show called Help, I'm in a Secret Relationship, where somebody is hiding the other person. They haven't met their family. They haven't met their friends. And they bring in, I don't know who the hosts are, some skateboarder and some rapper to come in and, and walk them through the whole thing. But Poundcake, who has gotten himself into better shape over the past 18 months, you should send in a tape for Dating Naked. Don't dismiss this out of hand. Now, you would have to get in even better shape, because, we all know what they're going for. They go, we're looking for body-confident extroverts, right? That makes sure that they don't get themselves in trouble.
See, this is something...
They're going to cast one heavy person on this show, and the rest of them are going to look like models so that they can say that they're body, confident. But they're looking for people who are telegenic. It's television.
Yeah.
That's what they're looking for.
I will say,
They ain't going to get 8 Lizzos out there. They're going to get, you'll say what?
I think you only need 4 Lizzos.
I will say that this is something that I wouldn't immediately dismiss because it's the American version of like dating naked. So it's going to be blurred. Like if you were, not to say that I would have sex on reality TV, but if I was to have sex on reality TV, I would much rather it be here in the States because I know it will be censored. They're not going to show someone banging. They blur it out and they blur out all my parts. So if I were to do it, it would be like I'm, everyone knows I'm naked, but no one can actually see. So I wouldn't immediately dismiss it. It would just be like I'm, in a Speedo or something. Like I would just be exposed.
And America, because they franchised this series out to other countries, obviously. America is the only one that pixelates it. They have Dating Naked Germany, which is full frontal.
That's what I'm saying.
And,
I wouldn't do it anywhere else. And I remember it was like a big thing. I remember back when they were selling DVDs, they had a Shot at Love with Tila Tequila. And,
I remember that show.
They promoted it when they were selling DVD, one of the promotions were like, oh, it's uncensored, so you get to it's not blurred out. Or I think it was a Shot at Love or one of those dating shows where you could buy it and they didn't blur anything. So if they were having sex in the house, you could see it. It was like an incentive to buy this DVD. Like you can see them having sex in the house. You can see
all those cable shows would release like the uncensored DVD and people would scoop them up. But like HBO Max showing that naked attraction, it's HBO, so they're fully naked.
Yes, but it's not an American show. That's the difference. They can do it on a pay service here in the States, but it's not filmed with American people because American people. An American audience is not ready for something like that.
No, it's got nothing to do with it.
We are far too body conscious.
No, it's got nothing to do with it.
We are just now in the realm of getting to TV shows where they're showing flaccid penises.
Dude, they've been showing flaccid penises on HBO and stuff for a long time.
Network television had Dennis Franz's ass on TV 30 years ago. I mean, it's a slippery slope from there.
Don't you remember the Sex and the City movie where it was a big deal where that guy, Giles Marini or whatever his name was, it was like the first time they've ever shown like a male, like a penis in a movie.
But that wasn't because of the crowd. It's because Sarah Jessica Parker
was the first time they did that.
Sarah Jessica Parker didn't want a lot of that in that show or that movie. That was her. That wasn't the American public.
But why
you think the American public has a problem with naked people?
The American public doesn't have problems looking at it, but the media is not. We don't. I mean, if that was the case, cursing wouldn't be blurred out.
No, it's the FCC.
To Cody's
it's not the
point,
audience.
To Cody's point, America versus other countries.
The conservative portion of America would not be ready to see that.
I feel like America.
They're never ready for anything. You can't. As much as
the country, as much as you want to say
it
that,
ain't
you can't
half.
just discount them.
It ain't half the country.
It is.
You think the conservatives are usually the ones that have the freakiest sex lives. What are you talking about?
Because, I mean,
those are the people who they might be watching
look at
it.
how the media is now, though. When you
what are you talking about? The media. We're talking about a naked dating show.
I understand that, but that's going to have a reaction from the public. I mean, you put a transgender host or a transgender character in a TV show, the conservatives freak out and they want the
and then
TV
they
show
move
pulled.
on to the next abomination. They move on to the next thing they're upset about.
And also with things being on streaming services and things like that, it changes the game. But that's where people go for that stuff. So there is a huge audience for that in America because that's where the eyeballs are now. So, and even, 30 years ago, a show like Real Sex on HBO was showing everything.
I used to watch it.
But
so
people
that's when I found out about the sandwich.
Audiences get used to what you give them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that's, I think, what Cody's saying, is that there's not a lot of nudity on TV in America where there's a lot more across the seas. Vice versa,
but you act like there aren't conservative people in other countries.
Right. But
of course there are.
But what I was going to say is that vice versa is that they don't show a lot of violence in other countries. That the amount of gun violence and things like that we show on TV shows and movies is not the same. They have different regulations for things like that over in,
True, but it's also not reflective of their culture. gun violence is very much reflective of our culture, of
Right.
American
Nudity
culture.
is reflective of
Of
theirs.
theirs, right.
Well, nudity is reflective of every culture.
But
That's
not
why
as
I'm
much
saying
as it is here.
that because we haven't given it to them.
But there's
we
some
would be in
things that-
we would be in lockstep. We started putting naked shows on TV. We would be in lockstep with every
But
other
we're
country on the
not.
planet.
But we're not. That's Cody's whole point. Is
Right.
that we're
We're
not
not-
at
But
that
he
same
says
point.
we're
not there
he
yet.
says we're not because we're not there yet. Of course we are. You think we're different people in this country? Everyone who lives in this country, people from every other country, you think that everybody, just because they live on this piece of land, they're not ready for naked people on television? Of course they are. Audiences get used to what you give them.
But not all at once. They slowly ginger it in. That's why they have a show like this. If they were to take a show,
Ginger.
Yeah, you ginger it in.
I don't know what I meant to say there.
Gingerly?
Gingerly, yeah.
Don't mention fat gingers. Mira get all moister than an oyster over
You
there.
gingerly
No.
put it in there. You will have one show,
Yeah.
maybe once a decade.
And that's what this show is, Dating Naked.
But it's not uncensored.
Okay, well, all I'm saying is send them your tape.
Okay. I
Get in
will.
good shape,
I'll
send
do-
them your tape.
I'll do it now
We would
because-
love to see you on this show.
Yeah, I have a nice butt, and I'll shave, and it would be fine. And y'all won't see anything.
Shave your butt.
Yeah.
Gross.
I'll shave my butt.
All right.
I have a hairy butt. But
Oh,
what? You're talking about me being naked, and you're not prepared for me? See, you're not prepared.
I'm prepared. You need to ginger me up a little bit on that. Let me give you this money. It's $1,000 from the Buzzard bookie. Are you ready for this, America? Here comes $1,000. Good luck.
This is your chance to bet with the Buzzard bookie and win $1,000 now. Enter this nationwide keyword at WMMS.com. Dollar. That's dollar. Enter it now at WMMS.com.
I mean, when that show hit HBO Max, it was the biggest hit in America on HBO Max. That doesn't tell me that Americans aren't ready for it yet.
You're not going to get it all at once. You can.
There's like 8 seasons of that show on there.
Of Naked or Naked Attraction?
Naked Attraction. They dumped every overseas season on HBO Max in the United States, and people flock to it.
Okay. Well, when they get an American season with all American cast, then I will reconsider. But they're not ready for that yet. Seeing a flaccid penis is one thing, but it's something sexual that people just haven't been accustomed to. So they'll gingerly put it in there, and they'll do a show.
Yeah, but
Stop with
that's
it gingerly.
I'm just saying.
no. Now that he knows, he's throwing it in. That's fine. Yeah,
I mean, but
give it to me.
You'll get one show, probably a decade, and then people will be like, "Oh, that wasn't that bad," and then like, okay, well, you're ready for more, and you're ready for more. That's how you move
But
a society.
that's
You're not
all
going to put it all
religion, and religion is slowly
This
going
is a
away.
very- but
It's religious
not gone
in
yet.
nature.
It's not gone yet.
The society is becoming more secular, and when all that stuff, when the religious stuff goes away, that's where the puritanical, terrified of sex stuff
Okay,
goes
but
away.
this is an extremely conservative country. It just
Not
is.
an extremely conservative
It
country.
is.
It is a big country.
There's
Big
more Christians
country.
here than any other religion. It's a Christian. It's a conservative country. So
Well, you might want to think so, but I would look around.
people are afraid of.
Just because the people who have a problem with being dragged kicking and screaming into the 21st
Well, that's who's
century
paying for
are
these
the
systems.
loudest, just because they're the loudest doesn't mean that they're the majority.
They'll pull their money, and networks are
What
especially
money? HBO? Subscriptions.
yes. And
Pull their
people-
money. There aren't advertisers.
but they'll pull their subscriptions, and then they won't make any money off
But
of
there's
it.
already a bunch of
Those-
nudity on all those
yes.
things anyway.
People love that. You're confusing conservatives with people who don't want to see sex. Those people are always the freakiest. In good and bad ways, I might add.
Okay.
Those are always, they just hide it or lie about it. Everybody else who's open about it, they don't have a problem with that
Okay,
stuff.
but Mary, weren't you in Virginia? And Virginia's a blue state. Didn't you have to put in your ID to
I
watch
didn't
porn?
actually do it, but
I'm just
yeah,
saying, but you
they
have to
blocked
now.
all of porn. Any porn site you went to, you either had to upload your ID or you could not access it.
So that's a blue state.
And I didn't do it, but
So it's not just everyone is not on the same playing field. Like everyone is in different spots with their values, and I don't think they want to rock the boat that much. So I would love to see dating Americans naked. I don't have to deal with the extra skin. It's great. But I don't think we're ready for that yet.
Well, you might
Seeing
be
people I
onto
went to
something.
college with on a dating show, I'm like, hey, I always knew, he was,
Imagine people you went to. Imagine you went to people with. You went to.
Start over.
His head explodes, and then I have to calm myself down. Imagine seeing people you went to college with, and they're watching you on television.
They do.
You're not just seeing them. Imagine them seeing you.
They're watching
You go, hey, hey, there's Cobra's hairy ass.
Well, yeah, see,
What's
up?
different. But I see them naked because they all got OnlyFans now. But yeah, seeing me on reality TV, that would be pretty fun.
Yeah. All right. You would have to keep your feet clean, though, if you're on that show.
Yeah, you can't
FYI.
stick
Yeah,
your
you can't be
feet.
doing-
Yup. Just get shredded, wash your feet, send them a tape.
Well, I feel like if I was naked, I wouldn't be as hot. My body wouldn't be as
What?
hot. I feel if I was naked,
Then
I
you're
would-
not hot.
But no, I'm saying my body wouldn't be as hot. Like I wouldn't be steaming, so therefore I feel like I wouldn't be as
warm,
steaming.
temperature hot.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to break here. If you want to get a text in for something, 35192 to get me there. AlanCoxShow.com for everything else, and we'll be back.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS.